This time around, Ben Affleck is beginning a new chapter in his life, one that brings him much closer to Jennifer Garner, the woman he was previously married to. It appears that Ben Affleck is prepared to move on and is aiming for a fresh start. You read that correctly, and now we are coming to the conclusion that Ben is making an effort to dissociate himself from Jennifer Lopez following the conclusion of their divorce. The rumors that are circulating about them are growing more and more widespread, and it appears that they are not going to remain a rumor for very long. This is because sources close to the couple have mentioned that Ben and J.Lo are gradually but surely working through the steps of their divorce. The process is being approached in stages, beginning with the sale of their multi-million-dollar marital home and progressing to the search for and purchase of their individual homes. Fans have the impression that there is no possibility of Ben getting back on track. However, while Ben is reporting that he is at peace with the decision, J.Lo is the complete opposite of this picture. In point of fact, there are reports that she is fuming, and it appears that she is still attempting to pick up the pieces in order to repair their conjugal relationship. We are going to reveal the truth about this mess, so you guys should fasten your seatbelts. It's time to get started. Therefore, the internet was buzzing with excitement after rumors circulated online about Ben and J.Lo's alleged divorce that took place behind closed doors. At this point, this information has been circulated for a number of months, and people are simply looking for answers. However, J.Lo has been keeping a low profile and has never really addressed the issue. The only time J.Lo was confronted about the divorce was during a movie press conference. However, even then, J.Lo's statement was pretty confusing and didn't even help clear the air. Ben and J.Lo have been keeping it low-key. Because it is a straightforward question with a yes or no answer, a lot of people are under the impression that they are no longer together and are simply waiting for the appropriate moment to make the announcement. It is important to keep in mind that J.Lo canceled a couple of major projects earlier this year, which caused me to lose my hair. It takes me back to the time when I was 16 years old and I was running up and down in the Bronx. These were the films and documentaries that, in the end, were deemed to be embarrassing by the audience. It is clear to me that you are attempting to take advantage of this gap. I am a humble person. This is where I come from. At this point, you are no longer interested in hearing this story. Imagine for a moment that they made the announcement of their divorce during that period of time. It would be a catastrophe for J.Lo, and I believe that we can all agree that she does not want that, especially after she was forced to cancel her tour due to low sales. But then J.Lo came forward and said that she wanted to spend more time with her family in order to possibly fix her marriage, and she decided to cancel her tour dates. Well, the reports were saying that this was the reason the tour dates were canceled. According to reports, Ben has finally moved all of his belongings out of the home they shared during their marriage and has finally purchased a new house for himself. I guess that was not enough to satisfy him. It was reported that a large number of people saw Jennifer Garner in the new house, which indicates that Ben did not move in by himself. Ben is very pleased with his new residence and views the transition as a source of optimism. Because he wanted to make it easier to co-parent with Jen Garner and their children, he wanted to relocate and be closer to them. In the event that you are not living under a rock, things are starting to become significantly more interesting. It would be impossible to remain unaware of the fact that Ben has recently purchased a property in Los Angeles. This is a permanent new home, not a rental property or anything similar to that nature. As a consequence of this, buzz on the street claims that he is making ongoing efforts to eventually establish himself in a different location. No J.Lo this time, as you are aware. We are finally moving on, and before you think that it is too soon to assume that they are no longer together, it is not yet the case. The exclusive information that TMZ has may cause you to reconsider your position. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, Ben has recently purchased a home, which means that he is leaving his rental in Benwood and moving into a permanent residence. Although it is highly likely that he will remain there until God knows when, he is definitely moving there permanently. The relationship between Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez has reached a breaking point, and he has moved out of the house. Do you remember when there were rumors doing the rounds that he stole all of his belongings from the house that he shared with J.Lo? At the beginning of this month, when the news broke, many people assumed that he went there in order to patch up their marriage, try to reignite their love after they have been separated for a period of several months. Joyce, on the other hand, was not at her residence. She was out and about. For instance, this took place while Joe was on vacation in Europe. Consequently, it is likely that he took precautions to ensure that the other individual was not present in order to acquire his belongings without interference. That will be done at a later time. It appears that he had planned the massive relocation before he left their home to move into his rental property in Brentwood. From this point forward, they are finally beginning to get a clearer picture of what is going on because the pieces are beginning to come together. Let us assume that there are two groups of people at the moment: those who believe that Jen and Ben will get back together, and those who do not believe that they will, such as the person who wrote this. There is no way that J.Lo would ever return to Ben, in my opinion. She is aware of all of his shortcomings, including the fact that he cheated on her and secretly had feelings for another woman behind her back, which ultimately led to the breakup of their marriage. That would be an excessive amount of discomfort to return to. Ben completely blew it. I would never put my faith in a man who made me feel like this. You would never know if his love was actually genuine, which is why you can't trust him. However, there is this person who believes otherwise, and they say that if this is true, JG is a doormat. This trio of women is triangulated by Ben, who is a toxic individual, and J.Lo is an enabler. On the other hand, there is yet another perspective to this tale. It would appear that J.Lo is fuming, those of you. In other words, she had been attempting to maintain a calm image, giving the impression that she was able to maintain her composure throughout the entirety of this ordeal. However, it appears that this is nothing more than a hoax. It was recently reported by the Daily Mail that the singer has been left distraught and humiliated as a result of her separation from her husband, Ben Affleck, who has delayed filing for divorce in an effort to shield her from the consequences of their divorce. What is the source of J.Lo's anger? Moreover, why is Ben even delaying the filing of the divorce petition by this much? This is completely illogical. That is to say, J.Lo had been attempting, or at least rumored to be attempting, to mend her marriage, right? During the press conference for her movie, she even became a little bit defensive when a reporter asked her about it. She said, "You know better than come on? Don't come in here with that. Thank you." In addition, there are reports that suggest that she is fervently seeking her ex-boyfriend back. On the other hand, she is reportedly fuming now that she has more wiggle room to possibly talk to Ben and settle their differences. This is because she now has significantly more flexibility. When it came to the marriage, Ben was the one who always gave the impression that he was completely done with it. There had been a great number of occasions in which he had been photographed appearing irritated in the presence of J.Lo. There are even instances of fights that were captured on camera, whether it was on their car while they were walking the red carpet or while they were actually attending an award show. Okay, I have to leave now. I am going to leave right away. There is no mother in my life. When it was revealed that he is delaying the filing for divorce, fans were taken aback because it was not the actual devil who was responsible for the situation. According to the information presented on page 6, Ben is only attempting to project J.Lo, and the two of them are no longer on any terms with one another. In that case, you had better take a seat because this one is going to be bumpy. Someone with knowledge of the situation claims that J.Lo is under the impression that Ben humiliated her because she made a big deal about the fact that he is the love of her life. Just 2 years ago, they were married for the second time. Apparently, this is some kind of record. The children are not very young. Additionally, it has been reported that Jennifer is in utter disbelief due to the divorce, which involves both of their children. Fans are a little skeptical about this development, such as asking whether it is because Ben reportedly moved closer to Jennifer Garner in order to make it easier for them to co-parent their children. Now that the children are involved, the situation is more complicated. In spite of the fact that their representatives have been tight-lipped about the entire fiasco, neither party has made any comments on the matter as of yet, which, in all honesty, only makes things more difficult for the two parties. There are a lot of people who believe that J.Lo needs to get help, especially considering the fact that her luck with love and marriage is almost non-existent. If only they had made a statement a lot earlier, then this thing wouldn't have become one of the most talked about divorces. At one point, J.Lo's previous marriages were also brought up. There is even a discussion taking place on the internet about whether or not it is J.Lo's fault or whether or not her ex-husbands are to blame. That is a question that I am unable to answer at this time. However, there is one thing that I can say with absolute certainty: a sizable number of people believe that J.Lo ought to help herself. J.Lo does not appear to fall emotionally in love with anyone, she just acquires things she wants. People are not things, and that is why it never works out for her, wrote one fan. Another fan added that she does not appear to emotionally fall in love with anyone. Because J.Lo is attempting to maintain her relationship with Ben, J.Lo has altered the way that she dresses. This is beginning to remind me of Jennifer Garner's attempt to outdo herself. J.Lo picked the property just to move far from his former wife and kid. Okay, this one could seem a little far-fetched, but who knows, right? So far, there's no response from all the parties concerned, and everyone is just waiting to finally hear the confirmation they had all been waiting for, and it has been a long time approaching. So hopefully they realized that it was time to clear the air and move on, but what do you guys think? Please let us know in the comments section below, and we will get back to you in the following video.